Now, this is a video I've been wanting to film for a while because it's super interesting after making all these videos about Lyft and Uber, after getting tons of comments, especially seeing the debates and the differences people have in their income when it comes to being an Uber driver and a Lyft driver. Now, I've mentioned probably 20 or 30 times now in all the videos, the number one factor that determines how much money you can make as a driver is your location. And we all know that. I've said that a ton in so many other videos. All my subscribers know that. However, it becomes even more apparent seeing the comment wars and the different comments I get. And this is, as a side note, I want to say, let me know what you think in the comments if you'd be down for this. I want to interview different Uber and Lyft drivers in different cities. I think it'd be fascinating to interview a driver in Las Vegas, especially in Vegas, or Nashville, or Boston, or Los Angeles, or Denver, or whatever, because it's super unique seeing all these different comments and the way people look at how much money you can make as an Uber and as a Lyft driver. Here's the reason why. I posted a video, for example, just picking one out, about Nashville. I was in Nashville and a driver told me on an average Friday, he could make about $800 in a day, which was crazy. I'm like, that's insane. And what was unique is some people commenting were like, yeah, Mark, I have a friend who lives in Nashville. She said that was pretty common. I had other comments, though, that were like, you know what, Mark, he's lying. That's absolute BS. It is impossible unless you get a crazy tip or unless something magical happens, like some crazy bonus or incentive. It is impossible to make that much as a driver. And here's what's interesting. When you look at the big picture, the meta-analysis, both those people are actually, in a sense, put that in quotation marks, right. Here's the reason why. The person who's saying, hey, Mark, yeah, in Nashville you can make that much, isn't wrong, because in Nashville you can make that much. The person commenting saying, oh, you know what, Mark, that's impossible, he's lying. I've had a lot of people comment saying, oh, no, all these drivers who say they're making a lot of money, complete liars. They're not wrong either, because in their own city, in their own experience, that's probably true. It's definitely true that in some cities, $800 in a day could be potentially impossible. You know, I mean, unless, I guess if you go 24 hours straight, which I would not suggest driving, maybe, I don't know. But what's interesting is because of each city being so different and so vastly different too, I'm not talking about a couple bucks, I'm talking about a big spread. You see this huge divide in income among drivers. And that's why, again, I think it'd be super interesting to maybe interview or do, I don't want to say a podcast, but like do like a cool little video series where I interview different drivers. Again, if you're down for that, please post it in the comments because I'd love to just see, because it's super interesting, especially when you look at how crazy the spread can be. I'm a former accountant, and I remember I started at my accounting firm, this is now in 2012 in Boston, at $57,000 a year. I know some people who started in New York doing the exact same job, and they were at like 63 or 64K, because New York typically pays higher when it comes to accounting firms, but it wasn't a lot, right? 57 versus 62K, they're pretty similar. However, with Lyft and Uber though, it is crazy seeing how in one area versus another area, there can be a 3x difference. You can make 3 times more money as a driver than in another area. And that's just so crazy because, like I said, I had one commenter saying that they were in Florida. Florida, typically, if you look at like a lot of the rideshare surveys, isn't the best time to drive. And they were saying, hey, Mark, I'm not going to lie, I make $2K a week easy as a driver in Florida. I had other people commenting saying, yeah, like I make about a couple grand, sometimes even between 2 and 3K a week consistently. And then I had other people comment saying, no, they're lying. That's impossible. You cannot make between 2 and 3K consistently as a driver. That is impossible. However, though, they're both actually right because in their area, in their cities, given the way the structure is, that's just the way it goes. It's so weird how when it comes to drivers, there's just such a spread and there's just so many different factors. If you look into how much Uber and Lyft is paying you per mile, per hour, per minute, et cetera, if you look at how much they're paying you when it comes to different bonuses and incentives, each city has different ones. In addition, if you look at the overall nature of the city, if you're, let's say, driving more miles typically in a city, you're probably gonna get paid a lot more than, like, say, another city where you're not gonna be driving a long distance as much. Another thing is these surges. Different cities have different surge pockets and different surge algorithms. Some cities just pay more because of those surges. Other ones, not so much. It's just insane. And again, please post in the comments if you're down for almost like a mini interview, which would be super interesting. I just wanted to make this video though because it is insane when you see the ridiculous amount of money some drivers are making, but then on the other end, in almost a negative way, the ridiculous amount of money they're making when it comes to them making almost nothing driving. The crazy thing is both drivers are right. Both drivers are not wrong when they talk about how much money they're making. It is just that there's a massive spread among cities when it comes to the income.